Shabbat Shalom, friends. Friends, right? We're all friends here. We hope. I hope. I don't know if you hope, but I hope that we are all friends here. Alright, today is going to be my Shabbat reading. I am back to doing these full time and wondering what... Oh, that's a note. I got my notes in front of this. This is my typical Bible that I read out of for my personal use as the scriptures. This is my hardcover large print version. I took the other one into the house and left it there on accident, but so I don't have the smaller one with me right now, so I broke out the large one that just happened to be with me. I always have a Bible with me. I went to the shop for this particular car I was in, and I was glad I had my book with me because I sat there and read it. But if I do not have my book with me, like my physical hard copy, soft cover copy, or my physical book with me, I always have a digital copy of the scriptures of this exact thing, Scriptures 2009 edition. And you can have a digital copy of the scriptures for free from Bible.com. Just go to Bible.com. You go to where the Bible button on there. They have an app for this as well. And then you go from there to the versions. They have a lot of different versions on there, and you can find TS 2009. That's going to be this book right here, the scriptures. There is going to be a link in the description of my Shabbat readings from now on, or any of my readings, whether I do them on Shabbat or not. The link for what I'm reading that day is going to be in the description for that chapter, or at least the first chapter of what I'm reading. Right now and today we are in Exodus 39, and maybe I'll go ahead and do 42, and that will conclude Exodus for us. Chapter 40 is the last one of Exodus, and then we get into Leviticus, where we find a lot more of our laws. There's quite a few of them in Exodus here, but there's a lot more in the following books, in Leviticus, Deuteronomy, Numbers. Not in that order. But, yeah, here we are today. It is just about Shabbat for me right now. It is really close. It is, Shabbat for me is sundown. I always go from the Google, whatever Google says sundown is, until that exact time the next day. And I believe it's 7:59 or something like that today. It's just about 6 p.m. for me right now, so I got a very short time to get this video uploaded, because I don't like doing that on Shabbat, uploading videos and whatnot, and this and that and the other thing. I typically don't go that... sometimes I'll be on my computer for Shabbat, basically when I'm reading right at my desk and looking things up, and just studying my word. I will be at my computer for that, because I got a lot of tools on my computer for that particular thing. If you're wondering what this is not supposed to be a bookmark. This is a Castle Nut wrench tool. This was where the tool was actually, this was with the tool in the little packaging, but it was the perfect size, and it's plastic, so it's a really good bookmark. So yeah, and I keep it in this. That was completely pointless. How do you like my new hat? Anybody like it? Nobody's commented on it. Obey Yah. Have you caught on to that? Obey Yah. Exodus 19:5. We read that here. Exodus 19:5. I'll read it again for you if you'd like, but not right now. The Shema. The Shema. I have a sign on my door for the Shema. It says to put a sign on your door. I have issues with a lot of people's reading of the Shema. I watch a lot of religious type videos. I don't like to say religious, because religion is a man-made construct, and it is a bad one because they screw it up constantly. They're really good at that. Religion is really good at screwing things up. Let's just, aren't we all though? We're all good at it. But religion really gets it. I mean, they perfected screwing things up. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, I watch a lot of these videos, and I watch a lot of Messianic Judaism type videos, where that's Jewish people that believe in Yeshua as Messiah, or Jesus as the Christ. I watch a lot of these videos, and a lot of them, they read the Shema, and the Jewish people, there's like a hair right there. The Jewish people love to sing it in Hebrew, and then a lot of the YouTubers, they read it in Hebrew to people, and that just doesn't sit well with me. I don't speak Hebrew. The people I speak to on this channel, they probably don't speak Hebrew. I mean, if you do, let me know, but most of you probably don't speak Hebrew. So why am I going to go and read this to anyone in a language that they're not going to understand? That's not how that's supposed to work, in my opinion. I mean, just because it was originally done in Hebrew doesn't mean it has to be done in Hebrew today, right now, for most. I keep one of these things on this page. I'm going to read it to you, the Shema. Shema is a Hebrew word that translates to hear and obey, or listen and obey. So in Hebrew, the verse starts with Shema, O Israel, and that's not what this says. This, and I'll just read it to you. Deuteronomy 6, chapter 4. Read it in your version, whatever version you have. It'll probably sound a lot different than mine, but it's important. This is, as far as I can tell, the only thing in the Torah that you are commanded to repeat. So here we go. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh, our Elohim, Yahweh is one. And you shall love Yahweh, your Elohim, with all of your heart, with all of your being, and with all of your might. With all of your heart, with all of your being. Your being is your soul, with yourself, with all of you, all that you have. Essentially, is how I interpret that. And moving on to verse 6, and these words which I am commanding you today shall be in your heart, and you shall impress them upon your children, shall speak of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. So you're to speak these words when you're leaving your home, when you're entering your home, when you're just sitting there, you randomly blurt out, Hear, O Israel. You know, I do this, and my children think I'm a nut, but that's okay. They can think whatever they want, but they remember it because, hey, that's that crazy thing Dad used to say constantly all the time, every freaking day, and blah, blah, blah. But they remember it. And that's the point there. Somebody's about to mow the lawn where I'm sitting. There is literally a lawnmower driving down the driveway in front of my car where I am sitting. And the lawn is about to be mowed while I'm reading this. That's okay. Getting it done before Shabbat. That's pleasing. All right. This video is going to be edited. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Hope I didn't lose my place here. Yeah, there was like literally a team of people mowing the lawn where I was just sitting. Hopefully they don't make it this far over because I didn't move very far. Hopefully. I have sun right here. I'm just going to start reading now. All right, Exodus 39. And if you remember, we've been into them constructing the tabernacle, the tent of appointment, the set-apart garments that the priest would wear, the priest Aaron would wear, and the generations following Aaron actually wore them too. And the Ark of the Covenant, or Ark of Atonement, Atonement, is it? No, it's the Ark of something. I'm spacing it right now. Father, please give me wisdom to speak. That's what I ask right now in the name of Yeshua. Amen. All right, moving on. Exodus 39. Well, let's just go back a couple of verses here. 38:30, and with it he made the sockets for the door of the tent of appointment, and bronze slaughter place, and bronze grating and utensils for the slaughter place, sockets for the courtyard, around the base of the courtyard, and the dwelling place, and the courtyard, and all that. Okay, that was paraphrasing. 39. And of the blue and purple and scarlet material, they made woven garments to do service in the set-apart place. Okay, so they hadn't made the garments yet, but here they are. And they made the set-apart garments which were for Aaron, as Yahweh had commanded Moshe. And he made the shoulder garment of gold and blue and purple and scarlet material, and of fine woven linen. And they beat out sheets of gold and cut it into threads to work it with the blue and purple scarlet material and fine linen and the work of a skilled workman. Now, if you know anything about metalworking, you can make metal thin. It's kind of like wiring. You make copper wire. It's essentially the same thing they're doing here out of gold to make it so they can weave it, essentially. They made shoulder pieces for it to join it, and it was joined with its two edges. And the embroidered band of his shoulder garment that was on it was of the same work of gold and blue and purple and scarlet material, and of fine woven linen, as Yah had commanded Moshe. And they made the Shoham stones, set in plated works of gold, engraved as signets are engraved according to the names of the sons of Israel. Shoham stones. Google it if you're interested, because I'm not really that 100% on it. So I'm not going to... Yeah, there's a lot of debate on it, really. 7. And he put them on the shoulder of the shoulder garment, stones of remembrance for the sons of Israel, as Yah had commanded Moshe. And he made the breastplate a work of a skilled workman, like the work of the shoulder garment of gold, of blue and purple and scarlet material, and fine woven linen. It was square. They made the breastplate double its length a span. It was square. They made the breastplate double its length a span, its width a span, doubled. You can Google what a span is biblically also. They filled it with 4 rows of stones. A row of ruby, a topaz, and an emerald was the first row. And the second row, a turquoise, a sapphire, and a diamond. And the third row, which is janintha, I don't know. And a agate and a amethyst. Jacinth. Jacinth. I don't know. And an agate and an amethyst. And 4 row a beryl, and the 4th row a beryl, a shoham stone, and a jasper. I think that's how you say it. Beryl. Set in plated work of gold in their settings. So they set all the stones in gold. And the stones were according to the names of the sons of Israel, 12 according to their names, engraved like a signet. Now you remember Israel. That is Jacob, I believe. Jacob. Yeah, Jacob. He was renamed to Israel. And the 12 sons of Israel, or the 12 tribes of Israel. We get into more of that later. 14. And the stones were according to the names of the sons of Israel, 12 according to their names, engraved like a signet, each one with its own name according to the 12 tribes. It wasn't that later. And they made braided chains of corded work for breastplate at the ends of clean gold. And they made 2 settings of gold and 2 gold rings, and put the 2 rings on the 2 ends of the breastplate. And they put the 2 cords of gold in the 2 rings on the ends of the breastplate. And the 2 ends of the 2 cords they fastened in the 2 settings, and put them on the shoulder piece of the shoulder garment in the front. And they made 2 rings of gold, and they put them on the 2 ends of the breastplate on the edge of it, which was on the inward side of the shoulder garment. And they made 2 gold rings, and put them on the 2 shoulder pieces underneath the shoulder garment of the front of it, close to its stem above the embroidered band of the shoulder garment. Ugh. And they bound the breastplate by means of its rings to the rings of the shoulder garment with blue cord, so that it would be above the embroidered band of the shoulder garment, and that the breastplate would not come loose from the shoulder garment, as Yah had commanded Moshe. And he made the robe of the shoulder garment of woven work, all of blue, a blue robe. And the opening of the robe was in the middle, like the opening of scaled armor with a woven binding all around, kind of like, in the middle. With a woven binding all around the opening so that it would not tear. Smart. And they made on the hem of the robe pomegranates of blue and purple and scarlet material, twined. And they made, that's pomegranates. And they made bells of clean gold and put the bells between the two pomegranates on the hem of the robe all around between the pomegranates. A bell and a pomegranate, all around the hem of the robe for the service, as Yah had commanded Moshe. And they made the long shirt of fine linen, the work of a weaver for Aaron and his sons, and a turban of fine linen, and the turban ornaments of fine linen, and short trousers of fine woven linen, and a girdle of fine woven linen with the blue, purple, scarlet material, the work of an embroiderer, as Yah had commanded Moshe. And they made the plate of the set-apart sign of dedication of clean gold, and wrote on it an inscription like the engraving of the signet, set-apartness to Yah. Well, that's what the inscription says, set-apartness to Yah, to Yahweh, to Yahuwah, to the Father. Set-apartness. To be set apart, to be holy. And they put on it a blue cord to fasten it above the turban, as Yah had commanded Moshe. And all the work of the dwelling place of the tent of appointment was completed, and the children of Israel did according to all that Yah had commanded Moshe, so they did. And they brought the dwelling place to Moshe, the tent and all its furnishings, hooks and its boards and its bars and its columns and its sockets, and the covering of ram skins dyed red, and the covering of fine leather, and the veil of the covering, the ark of the witness. Yeah, that's what it was called, the ark of the witness, ark of the covenant, ark of the witness, with its poles and the lid of atonement, the table and all its utensils, and the showbread, the clean lampstand with its lamps, and the lamps to be put in order, and all its utensils, and the oil for light. People. And the slaughter place of gold, and the anointing oil, and the sweet incense, and the covering for the tent door, the bronze slaughter place, and its bronze grating, its poles, and its utensils, the basin with its stand, the screens of the courtyard, its columns, and its sockets, the covering for the courtyard gate, its cords and its pegs, and all the utensils for the service of the dwelling place for the tent of appointment, the woven garments to do service in the set-apart place, the set-apart garments for Aaron the priest and his sons, garments to serve as priests. I'm being called, I'm ignoring it. Why do people always call me while I'm trying to read? Verse 42. According to all that Yah had commanded Moshe, so the children of Israel did all the work. And Moshe looked over all the work and saw they did it as Yah had commanded, so they had done. And Moshe blessed them. They looked at what they did, and it was good. What's that remind you of? I'm going to go ahead and read 40. It's not very long. This is going to be our last chapter in the book of Exodus, and we have officially read 2 books of the Bible together. If anybody's been following this, even with the gaps in between, with my absence of my being stupid and ungodly, I tell you what, when you're being stupid and ungodly and he has a plan for you, just ask Jonah what happens. Because, man, he'll biff you upside your head, and you'll feel it. And you'll feel it like your daddy did it. And if you've ever been biffed by your dad, you know what I'm talking about. I miss my dad. I do. And he died several years ago. But that's not the point. Chapter 40. And Yah spoke to Moshe, saying, on the first day of the first new moon, you are to raise up the dwelling place of the tent of appointment. and shall put in it the ark of the witness, and screen the ark with the veil. And you shall bring in the table and arrange what belongs on it, and bring in the lampstand and light its lamps. And you shall set the slaughter place of gold for the incense before the ark of the witness, and put up the covering of the door to the dwelling place. And you shall set the slaughter place of ascending offering before the door of the dwelling place of the tent of appointment, and shall set the basin between the tent of appointment and the slaughter place, and shall put water therein. And you shall set up the courtyard all around, and shall place the covering of the courtyard gate, and shall take the anointing oil, and anoint the dwelling place and all that is in it, and shall set it and all its utensils apart. And it shall be set apart. And you shall anoint the slaughter place of the ascending offering and all its utensils, and set the slaughter place apart, and the slaughter place shall be most set apart. Most set apart. And you shall anoint the basin and its stand, and set it apart. You shall bring Aaron and his sons to the door of the tent of appointment, and wash them with water. And you shall put the set apart garments on Aaron, and anoint him, and set him apart to serve as priest to me. And you shall bring his sons, and put long shirts on them, and shall anoint them. And as you anointed their father, they shall serve as priests to me. And their anointing shall be for them an everlasting priesthood throughout their generations. And Moshe did according to all that Yah had commanded him, so he did. And it came to be in the first new moon of the second year, on the first day of the new moon, that the dwelling place was raised up. And Moshe raised up the dwelling place, and placed its sockets, and set up its boards, and put its bars, and raised up its columns, and spread the tent over the dwelling place, and put the covering of the tent on top of it, as Yah had commanded Moshe. And he took the witness, and put it into the ark, and he put the poles through the rings of the ark, and put the lid of atonement on top of the ark. You know, that lid probably was not very light. So for this one man to lift it and put it on there probably wasn't very easy for him. But it doesn't say he had help. Is it possible he had help? Maybe. But it doesn't say that. So probably not. And brought the ark into the dwelling place, and placed the veil of the covering to screen off the ark of the witness, as Yah had commanded Moshe. And he put the table in the tent of appointment on the north side of the dwelling place, outside the veil, and set the bread in order upon it before Yah, as Yah had commanded Moshe. And he put the lampstand in the tent of appointment opposite of the table on the south side of the dwelling place, and lit the lamps before Yah, as Yah had commanded Moshe. And he put the gold slaughter place in the tent of appointment in front of the veil, and burned sweet incense on it, as Yah had commanded Moshe. And he set up the covering to the door of the dwelling place. And he put the slaughter place of ascending offering before the door of the dwelling place of the tent of appointment, and offered upon it the ascending offering and the grain offering, as Yah had commanded him to do, as Yah had commanded Moshe. 30. And he put the basin between the tent of appointment and the slaughter place, and put the water therein for washing. And Moshe and Aaron and his sons washed their hands and their feet with water from it, as they went into the tent of appointment, and as they came near the slaughter place, they would wash, as Yahweh had commanded Moshe. And he raised up the courtyard all around the dwelling place and the slaughter place, and placed the covering of the courtyard gate. And Moshe completed the work. And the cloud covered the tent of appointment, and the esteem of Yahweh filled the dwelling place. And Moshe was not able to come into the tent of appointment because the cloud dwelt on it, and the esteem of Yahweh filled the dwelling place. And when the cloud was taken up from above the dwelling place, the children of Israel went onward in their journeys. But if the cloud was not taken up, then they did not set out until the day that it was taken up. So as long as the cloud was there, so were they. But when the cloud left, they went and they followed. For the cloud of Yah was on the dwelling place by day, and fire was on it by night, before the eyes of all the house of Israel in all their journeys. So that will be the end of Exodus. Next week we will start Wayikra, or Leviticus, and I will be there. I will. Will you? Let's hope so. Alright, Shabbat Shalom everyone. I got to get out of here and get back home before the sun sets so I can start my Shabbat or my Sabbath. I believe I'm going to do a Shabbat or a Sabbath live stream for fellowship. A fellowship type live stream sometime during the Sabbath or near the end of the Sabbath, which would be sometime Saturday evening, I believe. I know. So possibly sometime I'm going to try to do that this Shabbat. I'm going to try. We'll see. Alright, Shabbat Shalom. See you next week. Well, probably before then, but I'll see you sooner or later.